Hello everyone, my name is Mohammad Fiki Rifkiana from the Information System Study program with name 461242006, and here I will present my final essay with the title Distance Learning System Technology, What are the Trends? Then let's get into the presentation. First of all, here I will describe the flow of my essay, starting from the background of the problem, explaining why I choose this topic, then there are facts and data explaining the data that I got when writing the essay. Next is the discussion, explain the topic to be discussed and providing an overview of potential of online learning. The last one is final or the final. There are conclusion and suggestion. Here I will conclude the content of my writing and provide recommendations to the reader. Alright, let's get into the first one, which is the background of the problem. The impact of the COVID-19 has changed many lives in Indonesia. One of which is the education system itself. For its impact on the world of education itself is divided into four major. The first is education system. The education system has changed because now we are online and only learn through online platform like Zoom, Google Meet, and etc. In addition, the education sector is sector that is very easy to transmit COVID-19 itself. The second is learning trend. In addition to have impact on the education system, trends also an impact, namely that many students become lazy and so on due to mistake in choosing trend. The third is the attitude and the mindset of the student. With the sudden change in the education system, students are shocked. So there is a wrong perception of online learning and policy during COVID-19. Many people assume that online learning is increased laziness. Hence, the behavior of student is also a lot of skipping school. And the last one is ability in learning. Because not all Indonesia can afford to buy electronic device and get an internet network, online learning is uneven in their learning abilities. These four things are the impact of the COVID-19 on education and are a bad first impression of this online learning. For the constraints themselves, we can conclude into on three major obstacles. The first is internet network because the level of the internet penetration in Indonesia itself is not even distributed. The role of the government is very important here to overcome these obstacles so that all region can do online learning. The second is inadequate facility. Not all students can have facilities such as electronic device or so that support online learning. And the last one is internet view. The internet view is quite expensive, so not everyone can buy this internet quota. What is more important here is that government role is very important in helping the lower class people. The problem in online learning is the main problem is the lack of variety in online learning. So learning is a bit bland. Why is this happening? Because of mistakes in choosing trend and lack of innovation from teacher in providing a fun learning system. Next, I will explain the facts and also the data that I took in the writing this essay. The first of regarding the level of internet network penetration in Indonesia. I got this from the Indonesia Statistics Center in 2019. We can see that the Indonesia internet network penetration is quite low, especially in the village itself, which is only around 51.91%, which is arguably still very minimal. Fortunately, for those in the city, it has reached 78.08%. Therefore, this is a problem that the government must resolve to optimize online learning itself. Implementation of online learning in Indonesia. The fact of the online learning in Indonesia, as far as my experience in writing in a essay. The first is the wrong mindset because when learning online, discipline is reduced. So you are lazy, therefore there is a wrong mindset. Another example is where you have a give activity and other thing, but it's very monotone and only give assignment, and assignment while studying. Next is the cost of education or study fee. The twin tiers view is the same. There are no fee or deduction, but the school does not provide actual facility. So many are disappointed, especially their parents. The third is the lack of facility, still a bit for some school. In addition, there are other facility, namely the internet network. Or the government shall give provide a quota subsidy, but it must be right for those who can afford it. The last is a lack of understanding of technology or technology understanding. Although many access the internet playing smartphone and intelligent technology in the field of education, there is very little and there is still many who do not understand both student and the teacher. Next, I will explain the content of my essay or the discussion of my essay. Response to the impact of the COVID-19 on education. Here, the response can be grouped into three. The first is that the government or the Ministry of Education and Culture or Kemendikbud is very responsive with immediately close and turn the education system into online learning. Next, students think that we this vacation and online learning, it is time for them to take a break from studying and have as much as possible with its own misperception. And lastly, people think that online learning is just an escape. From the three response, it can be seen that there are still many who think negatively, who think positively about this online learning. And what is online learning? Furthering online learning can be mean is a change from face-to-face learning to online learning. So here we make learning using a virtual system where all data will be processed online and notified into a system that will be distributed in a real time. So why online learning has a great potential in the pandemic period? So the benefit that we can get from the online learning are three. The first is to increase creativity and innovation because it uses technology in our field and can be added to our learning. The second is many trends can be applied as a needed, so it is not monotonous and very fresh in the learning. The last one is effective and fun because the trends are many and the application can be anywhere, such as creating interesting content or learning video about the material to bring up a hidden hobbies or talent. And how many types of online learning trends are there? So here there are two groups. The first is primary trend, are trend that are used as the main trend in making learning system. There are the second trend in this trend is adaptive learning, open education research, gamification, game-based learning, mainstream open online course, LMS, and interoperability, mobility, and mobile device and designs. While the secondary trend, uh, it is a trend supporter that can be used side by side with the primary trend and cannot be used as the main trend in a learning system. It can only use a super system. There are three his secondary trends, including mixed learning, dashboard, and final is virtual reality and artificial intelligence or AI. And what trends are suitable for Indonesia? So that it fits in exciting society and technology because technology in Indonesia is not sophisticated as abroad. So it require the right trend with the people culture, behavior, and habits so that the chosen trend must be right. The first trend fit in the trend of gamification and game-based learning because this trend combine learning with the game that are suitable in this case so that online learning become the easier and more fun. So why is this trend right? Since the various group like the game itself student will love it and there will be no pressure to learn. Example of the application of the game, mm, it's up into learning are quite a lot. The most we can see for example is the game Minecraft. Minecraft is a creativity and survival game where you can building according to your creativity. It has been done about to make a city arrangement so that the game can be used as a learning system that is very suitable to apply in Indonesia. Is a fun. The next trend is the suitable for Indonesia is a design trend. Design is a learning trend that refer to for planning, structuring, interacting in a learning environment to learn quickly, effective, and efficient. Because here the emphasis in online learning that use methods that are easily understood by students and do not bother some people but make it easier to choose the system. At the beginning of the learning, teacher and student exchange ideas about the method. With this trend, there will be no more misunderstanding in learning, and of course, it will be fun. The last is discussion. It's about is about the conclusion and suggestion from me given on the essay. The conclusion I can get from this essay is that online learning has the potential during our pandemic to change online education innovation in Indonesia. This selecting educational trend is very important to be adapted to the condition of each region. In addition to reducing the spread of COVID-19, online learning can also provide a space for students of all levels to innovate and be creative in what they love. Online learning also make a technology in Indonesia can be more developed because with this online learning, technology is increasingly being utilized and its potential is getting even better during the pandemic is the most potential time for learning technology. Here, I will would like to advise in the future regarding my conclusion, namely as a government and teacher, we must design learning with appropriate trends so that online learning that was previously difficult and scary become fun. We can get through this pandemic a brick full of innovation and achievement, not just looking for an escape. By looking for the right trend and the right technology, this online learning can be continued and not just an escape, can be used as innovation and creativity in education technology system in Indonesia. Here are some references that I took from the data quotes and also the discussion. Thanks for Thank you for listening my essay presentation. If some words are not understand, you can comment on my video later. If there's something if you want to ask, I will answer as best as I can. Once again, thank you all, and also thank you, listener, sir, who have provided very useful learning material. Bye bye. See you next time.